Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, and today we go in to discuss some shocking accounts of people who remember a life that was theirs down to the day they died. We'd love to have you join our ever-growing family. And with that said, let's get into it. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button. She would have violent mood swings out of nowhere. At times, she would even speak in a language her parents didn't recognize. When Dolores' mother asked her about these random episodes, the young girl would always reply, "That's my other life." This is because he doesn't remember living in the past at all. Instead, he remembers a life that's very familiar, yet drastically different from his own. A man only known as Peter visited a therapist named Richard during a session. Peter told Richard about strange feelings he had whenever he looked at certain objects. One man named James had an experience that completely changed the way he viewed the world. It's hard to say whether or not reincarnation is real, but one thing's for sure, these people's memories are crystal clear, and they're definitely onto something. He was able to gain access to his past life memories simply by smelling the ocean. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. In this past life, James was a sailor who traveled the world. He had an adventurous life and saw many different places, but eventually he died at sea. Now, many years later, James finds himself inexplicably drawn to the ocean. He doesn't know why he feels this way, but he decides to visit the beach anyway. As soon as he takes a deep breath and smells the salty air, he begins to feel a strong sense of daze. At first, it's just a faint feeling, but it quickly becomes more intense. Before he knows it, he's reliving his past life as a sailor. He can feel the wind in his hair, the sun on his skin, and the waves crashing around him. Although these memories are painful, they're also beautiful. They allow James to connect with his past self and all the emotions that came along with it. For example, he would feel a strong sense of déjà vu when he saw a red sports car, but he couldn't explain why. Richard asked Peter if he could go further back and try to uncover the root of these feelings. To his surprise, Peter was able to access a vivid memory of a time when he owned a red sports car just like the one he had seen earlier. Not only did he remember owning the car, but he also remembered his wife and kids, as well as the day he died. Apparently, Peter died in a car accident. He remembers feeling the impact of the crash and the pain he felt before everything went black. What makes this story the most interesting is that the memories Peter was accessing didn't belong to someone who lived in the past. Instead, they belonged to a version of Peter who lived in a parallel timeline. In this timeline, Peter was a successful businessman who lived in a mansion with his wife and kids. Unfortunately, he and his family were killed in a car accident, which sent Peter's consciousness to a different timeline. Peter believes that somehow his soul ended up in the body of the Peter who currently lives in our timeline. This means that there's another Peter somewhere out there who's living his life without his soul. Whatever the case may be, this story gives us a fascinating look into what could happen if our timelines collided. After hearing this, Dolores' parents decided to take her to a doctor, but the doctor couldn't find anything wrong with her. He suggested that maybe it was just an act, but her parents weren't so sure, so they decided to visit a hypnotist instead. All they have to do is visit a certain place or look at a specific object. One woman named Mary experienced this firsthand. She was able to gain access to vivid past life memories simply by visiting a graveyard. In one particular past life, Mary was the wife of a wealthy businessman. She lived in a large mansion and had several children with her husband. Unfortunately, her husband passed away, and she was deeply distraught. In fact, she loved her husband so much that she chose to be buried next to him when she died. Now, many years later, Mary finds herself inexplicably drawn to the same graveyard where her husband is buried. She doesn't know why she feels this way, but she decides to visit anyway. As soon as she lays her eyes on her husband's grave, she begins to feel a strong sense of déjà vu. At first, it's just a faint feeling, but it quickly becomes more intense. Before she knows it, she's reliving her past life in all its glory. She can feel the pain of losing her husband, the joy she felt when she was with him, and the love they shared for each other. Although these memories are painful, they're also beautiful. They allow Mary to connect with her past self and all the emotions that came along with it. The hypnotist put Dolores into a trance and asked her questions about her strange behavior. In response, the girl told him about vivid memories she had of another life. According to Dolores, she lived in a big house with lots of servants, She remembers riding around in horse-drawn carriages and eating delicious food every night. Most importantly, she remembers being a man in another life, specifically a military man stationed in India. It was almost as if Dolores had a perfect memory of the past life she once lived. But it wasn't just the events that she remembered clearly. She also remembered things like how a mango tasted, or the feeling of riding a horse. Once Dolores came out of the hypnotic state, she went back to being her usual self, talking and acting like any other 2-year-old girl. As she grew up, her strange past life memories faded away. However, in the late 80s, Dolores's past lives returned with a vengeance. She began having vivid dreams and flashbacks of her previous lives, and when she awoke from these experiences, she would often be confused and disoriented. Eventually, Dolores shared her past life memories with the world. She has written several books about her experiences, and she continues to share her story in hopes of helping others who may be experiencing similar phenomena. Part 1. The young girl who remembered her past lives. In 1961, a 2-year-old girl named Dolores Cannon was taken to see a local hypnotist by her parents. The little girl had been acting out for months. Part 2. Past life memories from another timeline. There are many people who claim to have memories of a past life, but one man's story is particularly intriguing. Part 3. Past life memories triggered by places. For some people, accessing their past life memories is a simple task. Part 4. Memories from a previous life. Past life memories can be triggered by a number of things, including places, objects, and even smells. These stories are truly amazing, and they give us a glimpse into the infinite possibilities that exist in our universe. Now it's time to hear from you. Which story was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.